Dear Mr. Stu, I watch a lot of your videos and I appreciate being able to understand my kids better. Thank you so much for that. Make sure if you are not yet, be sure to like and subscribe on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Mr. Stu TV there, and on YouTube. It's youtube.com/at Mr. Stu TV. Check it out there. You'll see lots of videos and tips and techniques and thoughts. Check it out. Make sure you follow in all those places. But I've got a question that I and a lot of my other friends have, because we cannot understand what's going on with our kids. Ooh, I'm intrigued. I've noticed that after school, my kid transforms into a whirlwind of energy, zipping around the house like a tornado. Just yesterday, I found my favorite plant knocked over in the living room amidst the whirlwind chaos. Why does my child exhibit this behavior post-school hours? Thanks so much for that question. And I love the way you worded things. You are a wordsmith. This is something that comes up fairly often, especially when kids are just getting used to the school routine, if they're in kindergarten or if they're just kind of figuring it out, or at the start of the school year. It can be that your child shows great behaviors during the school day, and then as soon as they get home, it is just a tornado that whips through your house. And there's a way to think about it, and then there's something to do about it. The way to think about it is that your child has kept it together all day long. School is 7 hours or more, and if you add in bus rides or car trips or after-school activities, they have kept it together for a long, long time. And now they have to let it out. All of that energy has been pressurizing inside of them, and they have done a really good job of keeping it all held together. But when they get home and they get comfortable, it's got to come out. That is why you see the tornado whip through your house when your child steps off the school bus and comes through the front door. It can also be sometimes why there is more emotionality after school, that the child maybe is more frustrated, or they're more prone to start crying or even giggling. It's because they've kept all those things inside all day, and they're looking for some reason and some safe place that they can let it all out. So first and foremost, take it as a big compliment. I know it doesn't feel that way all the time, but it's a great compliment if your child feels safe enough that you are the one that they let all that energy out with. Now, here's what you can do to help in those situations, because it's not just about being able to deal with it and grin and bear it, but you can actually do some things that helps your child. The biggest thing that I can recommend is that when your child gets home, it shouldn't be the time where they're told to do another thing. Imagine if you have been at work all day, and let's face it, the school day is almost as long as a work day. And if you take into account bus rides, especially in Louisville, Kentucky, where I'm located, if you take into account bus rides, it is as long or longer than a typical work day. So take that into account and think, when you get home from work, how does it feel if your child or your partner or someone looks at you and asks you immediately, you walk through the front door and immediately they say, hey, you need to do whatever the thing is. Hey, you need to make sure you do the laundry. Hey, what's for dinner? Hey, whatever it might be. You've just worked all day long, and now someone is asking you to do another thing as soon as you walk through the door. It's very frustrating. For kids, it's the same way. But so many times we think, well, they need to do all the things they have to do before they get to do the things that they want to do. They need to make sure that they take care of their homework before they move on and do the next thing. I know that that's the mindset, but that's not the truth. We can allow kids to have some decompression time before they have to do another thing they have to do. And that's a big way that you can support your child and help them not have that chaos tornado as soon as they walk through the front door. When they get off the bus and come in, you can allow them to have some decompression time. I really recommend that decompression time includes getting out physical energy, not just sitting and playing video games, not just sitting on the phone, but getting out physical energy. Because if they can release some of that physical energy in positive ways, then it won't come out as much in the negative or difficult ways. So allow them, let them come through the front door, and then let them run outside or jump on the trampoline, or if it's warm enough, jump in the pool, or just run around the house, or do a workout, or a fun little physical activity, or a race, or whatever it might be. Allow them to get out some of that physical energy. And you'll start to see that over time, yes, it's all been pressurized, but then you hit the release valve and they're allowed to let it out. And then they come home and it's all pressurized, but then they hit the release valve and it's allowed to all come out. If you tell children as soon as they've spent a whole day working that they need to do more work, whether it be homework or laundry or cleaning up their room or whatever, if that's the first thing they have to do, then you're just pressurizing it more. And don't be surprised if all that energy explodes out, rather than what you could do is finding some positive ways to let that energy out, to let it come out in some ways that aren't going to drive you wild. So just remember, they're working really hard. They've kept it together all day long, and they've got to find some ways to let some of that energy out. As adults, we find ways to let that energy out after work. We have to do the same with kids. We have to allow them to let it out. Then they'll be ready for the next thing they have to do. So keep that in mind. Try allowing them to use some physical activity afterwards and see if that helps. I think that it will. Thank you so much for that question.